All right, guys, welcome to Beyond the Muscle. I'm really excited to welcome our next guest, Ru Khera. Ru made an incredible impact on natural bodybuilding last year. So, on his first ever show, he won the novice, best wheels, and overall on his very first attempt at the BNBF Midlands. He then became novice British champion with the BNBF and then repeated that feat at the WNBF Supernaturals as well. So, yeah, three times British champion. He then finished third at the Men's Open at the UK DFBA British and international finals, and then capped off a crazy season with fifth place at the WNBF World. So, yeah, welcome to the show, Ru. It's really good to chat to you finally. How would you summarize your debut season?
Thank you, man. Obviously, firstly, appreciate you having me on. And it's like, obviously, as you were just like saying all that, like it was just making me smile. Like, because obviously, like sometimes you obviously not that you forget what you actually accomplished, but like when you hear someone say it, it's like I actually did that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
But yeah, just in general, like the year was just like amazing, man. Like you said, as you just said, like winning like three shows,
yeah.
and I think it's especially like my first show, winning my class, winning the overall, winning best
Yeah.
wheels. Just like for a first show, like it's just a next level feeling. Like if someone had said to me, "You're gonna come away with all these trophies," I
Mm,
would say, "Nah, there's no way." Because
yeah.
like even though like you do well, obviously I do compete to win. At the end of the day, like I want to be on stage. I want to come on stage the best package possible, and obviously try to win.
Yeah.
But then yeah, when you come away with like that, it's just like you don't expect it. But yeah, just in general, just like a really amazing year,
Yeah.
and yeah, just yeah, crazy, crazy. One of the
Yeah.
best years of my life for sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, and it was yeah, it's such a crazy thing. Yeah, to obviously to have never competed before and then win
Yeah.
everything in your first show. Yeah, how did it feel? How did it feel to I do a clean sweep in your first show?
Just didn't feel real. Like to win my class. Obviously, like I said, you do it to win. So to win
Yeah.
my class is what my real aim was. And obviously, I see like the best wheels is just like a bit of a it's like a bit of fun. It's like an extra little thing. But
Mm,
even to win that was like
mhm,
amazing. Like it's a cool trophy to win. But then to win the overall, it was just like I
mm,
still remember now. I was like very emotional. Like I did not
mm.
believe that like I've just achieved this. But then it kind of opens your eyes to like, okay, like what's kind of possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, so the feeling was just one, it didn't feel real,
Yeah.
but it was just like it took a while to sink in. Like even like when you get like loads of messages from people and like people congratulating you and stuff like that, it was just yeah, like a different level of feeling, man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I looked at all through your photos that I first showed. Yeah, it's clear that it meant yeah so much
Yeah,
to you.
so much.
That
Yeah,
yeah,
honestly.
amazing. Yeah, I remember my first show like it was yesterday, even though it was 10 years ago now, which is pretty nuts. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
Make
won the
yourself sound old.
I know I am yeah 41 next month. Yeah, man, I'm getting on. But yeah, I won the overall first time out as well, and it was such a surreal experience. And I think apart from myself and you, and I think that I only know one other person who won novice, best fields, and overall, like first time out.
No way.
So
No
yeah, I
way.
don't know if there's anyone else, but yeah, if anyone knows, let me know because
Yeah, let us know.
yeah, to
We'll
know
create a little community.
exactly if the like the triple on their first
Yeah,
time.
that's
But
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and obviously you want best wheels, and yeah, your leg development is better than mine. It is. I'm working on it, but
I
you
appreciate
got
it.
crazy legs.
Yeah,
Is that something
crazy.
that's come easily for you? Like when you first started training, was that an area that just blew up for you?
Um, you know what? It's hard to say because I have had a lot of people ask me. So this is something that like I've had like time to think about. Like, what is it that's kind of like made my legs grow? Let's say. I think as when I was starting off, I think obviously when I started in the gym, it was just like more. It was just catered just to like I was just trying to look good and stuff. Like it was I wasn't massively trying to aim for bodybuilding and all of it. I trained like bodybuilding style, but it was
Yeah,
never like I never really had big goals with bodybuilding. And then, but I would say one thing which I noticed around the time when I was training, loads of people were just skipping legs. So
right.
I think
Right.
that makes a big difference. Like
Yeah.
I've trained legs from the very start,
Mm.
and it wasn't actually until, so that could be one thing. But then it wasn't until I started working with AJ that I actually started basically my frequency of leg training literally doubled because I'd always trained legs once a week. Whereas then when I started with AJ, that went to twice a week. That could be another thing. But Yeah, because even like, I still remember like back when I was like first started training with my mates, like you're just having fun in the gym, and
Yeah,
I'm not even exaggerating now. The way we used to train our legs, like we used to train it once a week, and they were
yeah,
just about recover for the next week. We
right.
used to do these, like stupid drop sets, like we honestly we used to bury ourselves, like, and then for days you can't walk, you can't, it's killing you to go up the stairs. But
Yeah,
so and the intensity's always been there with my training.
yeah.
So in terms of like, I think it's a mix of all things, genetics as well. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? So like training hard, obviously the frequency,
Mm.
and yeah, genetics. So yeah, honestly, I think it is a mix to be
A
fair.
mix, yeah, that makes sense, and that's interesting what you said about training legs like right from the start. And I think my hunch would be that most people don't do that because I certainly didn't. Like when I first started training, yeah, I'll do a bit
Yeah,
of legs here and there,
yeah, here and
but
there, but
really the focus was on
yeah.
big chest, big back,
Yeah, yeah,
big
as
arms.
as it usually, especially because I think a lot of people when we do start training, it's just for the love of training. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? I think very rarely before you even start training, you think, I want to be a bodybuilder.
yeah,
You have to fall in love with the training and then you fall in love with the bodybuilding.
yeah, yeah,
So
so
I
true.
think yeah, I think it is very normal. So even now, like I'm presuming it's still very normal for people to just skip legs or it's
Yeah,
only 1 week. Do you know what I mean? I feel like yeah,
that's
it's
it.
just like, to be the norm.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes total sense. Talking of
Yeah.
that, actually, when did you realize you wanted to compete?
I'd say I thought about it. I definitely thought about it a long time before I actually took that step and like inquired with AJ, for example. But it was always a case of because I feel like the probably the biggest reason why I didn't do it earlier was obviously I didn't really have like many people around me competing. I
Right,
wasn't really, do you know what I mean? Like I didn't really have an influence. The only real things I would have seen would be like social media or following bodybuilders from like my area. Because especially like where the gym where I started training at, it was just like a commercial gym, like 24/7 fitness.
right.
And there were people that were like serious about training, but
Mm,
and people would say to me, "Oh, like you should get into like competing or whatever, whatever." But I never really had like people around me to push me, or didn't really have the knowledge of it. Didn't really follow natural bodybuilding too much.
yeah,
Then it was like, and then as the years went on, I just like started to like take more notice of like bodybuilding in general, like I said, like bodybuilders around my area and stuff like that. Then I got
yeah,
slowly into like natural bodybuilding, started following it, found out about like coaches and stuff like that.
yeah.
And then it was just taking that next step because like I was
Mm,
always kind of being like followed the bodybuilding lifestyle with
yeah.
like meals, timings, like to a certain, obviously not like as much as I do now, but to a certain extent. And then it was just about taking that next step, to be fair.
Yeah, that's like the next step in the process. Yeah, it's funny you say that, and it makes sense. Like the one common thing, like everyone I've spoke to so far has been they were kind of training like a bodybuilder before they were a bodybuilder,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
seems to be the
definitely.
same, the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
with
yeah,
you. But in
yeah.
terms of like gym environment, what is your current gym like where you train now? Is it a
Yeah,
good,
I don't know
more
if you've ever heard
bodybuilding?
about it's a foundry gym. There's quite a few around the
I
country,
have,
but
yeah, yeah,
it's like a bodybuilding gym basically.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
yeah.
which definitely,
Which I do prefer because I honestly do think your environment definitely matters.
I think so too.
Like,
Yeah.
I could not be training obviously no offense to anyone that does and stuff like that,
Mm,
but I couldn't be training in like a commercial gym. And one because of the equipment, because when you've like tried all like the different like you got your Prime, Nautilus,
mm,
Cyber, once you've tried those machines and you go back to like the commercial gym machine, they do not
mm,
hit the same at all. And obviously when you're surrounded by people that are like on similar journeys, on similar paths, it's
yeah,
motivating. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
When you look at them, they look at you, you kind of like, do you know what I mean? It's those, I think the environment definitely definitely helps.
100%, yeah. No, I couldn't agree more there. Yeah, I was the same. I used to train a pure gym before, and it was like good
Yeah.
enough. And it's funny
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
the
yeah.
reason I left was actually not because I wanted to pursue bodybuilding, but I was just it was so busy. It was so busy. And then I joined King's gym, and I thought this is for me. This is where
Yeah,
I need to be.
King looks really cool. I've never been myself, but
Oh, you know,
which one is
yeah.
it?
I
Which
go to
one?
one in Croydon.
Okay, okay, yeah. They
Yeah,
do look
yeah.
good. Yeah.
There's a few around the country. Yeah. Where are you based? Where are you based, Ru?
Birmingham, I think they're all down south.
Yeah, I think they are. I think it might be
Yeah,
like three or
yeah,
four, but they're all located down
yeah,
this
they
way.
do look good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe they'll spread out. Hopefully, yeah. But
yeah,
you've got a
yeah,
good gym by
maybe.
the sounds of it, so you're all
That
set.
is, yeah, it is good still. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Going back to your season, Reese, obviously you had an amazing year and big season too. Like, yeah, 5 shows, which is a lot. I know you expressed like a bit of disappointment, like finishing fifth it was, which is understandable because it's
yeah,
when you have such an amazing start. It kind of
Yeah,
does set the bar high, and I can definitely
yeah,
relate to that. How
yeah.
do you feel reflecting back on that show now, the WNBF Worlds?
The worlds. So on it, like you mentioned, like at first it was very disheartening. Like I'll be completely honest. Like obviously I've come off stage, and even when I was even like I was confident throughout it all. Backstage I was confident. Like I honestly felt like on the money.
Yeah,
And then obviously like on stage you're getting moved around, thinking obviously like you want obviously you know yourself like you want to be as close to the middle as possible to
mm,
try to gauge like how things are going.
yeah,
And then obviously came fifth. And I remember being backstage and I must have been backstage for about a good half an hour. Like I didn't want to speak to no one. I didn't want to
mm,
like I just wanted to be by myself.
yeah,
And then like I'm just gonna be completely honest. And then obviously so then as I've got like come backstage because like my parents went with me
yeah,
to Boston, and then as you come off stage where we were like sitting and spectating before like I went on, they were like sitting like right there, and then as honestly as soon as I seen my mom's face, I just started crying,
mm,
just started like because then 'cause I knew this was gonna happen. That's why
mm,
I said to myself I was gonna chill backstage like with in my own head in my whatever.
yeah,
And then yeah, I was just Simon just started like just let it all out. Obviously, I feel
yeah.
like now looking back, I'm thinking, what I'm so like emotional. Like, what was wrong with me? But
No, no.
obviously, like prep hormones, everything all over the place.
Hmm.
But yeah, and then obviously AJ was there as well. Like he was like a few seats down. And obviously
Mm,
he must have seen me, and I'd calmed down, and I'm sure that he came over, put his arm around me, when I
mm,
just started again.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it's just one of those ones where like I said, like I compete to when I want to do my best, and then it's just disheartening to think, oh, you like I finished fifth. Like what is fifth? But then you take a step back and you
mm,
realize I've come fifth in the world.
yeah, yeah.
Like this isn't like no like Mickey Mouse stuff. This isn't like this is like
Mm.
do you know what I mean? Like this is the
Yeah,
world, and it was a stacked lineup. Like there was 13 of us.
yeah, yeah,
So do you know what I mean? When you I say, when you take a step back and you think, and it's not just that, when you think about what I achieved in the whole year, that's what I had to kind of remind myself that
yeah.
and it is my first year. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like, I can't be expect just because I won my first show and I did really well and that did really well in a couple of those. So I can't expect just to be winning everything because
mm,
do you know what I mean? Like it's not
yeah.
that's not the way it happens. Um, but yeah. So on reflection. Definitely like proud of what I was able to achieve. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really nice story. Yeah, that's so true as well. And I'm sure your parents would be so proud of you, regardless of where
Oh,
you
yeah.
came. And that's the thing,
Yeah.
they
How like honestly they're the best, like so supportive of like
yeah.
the whole journey and everything. So yeah.
That's great to hear. And it sounds like you've actually really kind of taken on and used it to almost boost you in a way. You've kind of, yeah, like a really mature way of looking at that. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do think like the shows we don't win, they can be like valuable lessons as well because I know it hurts so much at the time, but I think yeah,
Yeah.
deep down that experience of not winning, yeah, it can be a good thing because you can experience both. You can always like to win, to not win, and I
Yeah.
just think yeah, it can make future shows better. I think it puts less pressure on you. I think as
Yeah,
well
100,
if you can
100%.
have.
I think it's definitely not a bad thing. Obviously, like we said, like if you might feel like not the best in the moment, but when you look
Mm,
back, you think then you just got more to aim for. Like
mm,
you know, you next time you have to be better than fifth place or whatever it
yeah,
was. You know what I'm trying to say? So,
yeah,
but then on the flip side, it's kind of like even if you're winning everything, I still think it's good because then
mm,
you've set that level, and then it's like I've set the bar now. I've got to
mm.
keep. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's positives to both. Like there's not negatives to either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
really cool. That's a really
yeah,
interesting way of looking at it, actually. Yeah, and yeah, it reminds me of what I was chatting to Julian Drax Chan on the last one, and he said yeah, it kind of motivated him further. Know that
yeah.
now that he kind of hit pro, and
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it. Yeah,
I
exactly.
can see
Yeah,
yeah, there's definitely positives to both, and I think the
100%,
most important thing
100%.
is you try and look for the positives in those situations.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
what would you say were some of the biggest challenges you faced during your first prep, Ru?
Um, Biggest challenges. As in terms of like the effects of prep, or do you mean
I
just
mean,
like
just generally. So, what were like the most challenging? It could be mental, physical, related to diet, training, anything. Yeah, anything at all. What were some of the hardest things you found with prep?
to be honest, my food focus was quite bad.
Was it?
Yeah, for me personally, and I feel like that, like I'm just someone that loves food, loves food in general. Um, but so like my food focus was quite bad, and I
Mm,
feel like my food focus was making me feel like I was more hungry than I actually was.
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yeah.
it was that that drove up the hunger. Like when I wasn't actually that hungry. Because to be
Mm,
fair, my calorie on rest days, my calories got to like 1600, which was low. Like they were hard days. But
yeah.
training days was like about 2000, like about 2100. So yeah, I'd say food focus. I did actually have some like digestive issues, which
Yeah.
I think was mainly just down to stress, to be fair. Looking back now and like
Yeah.
at first like when we tried like swapping out foods, like we literally swapped out everything and then
Mm,
it would work for a couple of weeks and then it would go, then I'd feel back and it would put and even that was probably psychological, thinking, okay, we've made a change, I'm gonna feel better. But
yeah.
really I think that was down to stress, just from like other stuff that was going on and stuff like that. But yeah, to be fair, like I'd say those couple two things to be fair.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I was the same. I've only still only done two preps or two full seasons,
Yeah,
and even the first one was a small season. But yeah, my food focus was so much worse in that first year. So
yeah.
yeah, hopefully for you, and the next time you do it, it just yeah gets
Yeah,
a bit easier. I
yeah,
think it does. I think every prep you
yeah,
do,
yeah.
the food focus, because you know what to expect, right? So
Exactly, yeah. Once you've experienced it once, you kind of know what to expect. And it's
mm,
even, and to be fair, it's even stuff like obviously like post prep now, and it's
mm,
like I know how long it should roughly take me to start feeling myself again.
yeah,
But like when I next prep, so it's even like it's all literally just a learning curve,
mm,
like literally all of it, and there is so much to learn.
yeah,
You learn about yourself a lot as well in the
yeah.
process. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
definitely,
it's a great learning experience. It really
yeah,
is.
100%, yeah,
Yeah, going back to your season, I remember seeing photos of you as you got kind of close at a stage ready, and yeah, your
yeah.
structure is up there with like the craziest I've seen. Like your leg to weight
No,
ratio
thank you, man. I
is just
appreciate it.
ridiculous.
Thank you. Yeah,
Um, and yeah, and it's not to say that this came easy because I've seen what you train. You do train, yeah, you do train hard, which is good. You definitely put the work in. But
thank you.
when did you realize that you had something special in terms of your overall kind of look and structure?
Um, on it, something, something special. Because to be fair, even like when I before, like I started with age, I was like I've never really been overly lean.
Right.
Like never really, I was always a bit more like on the bulky side. Like I remember, I'm sure when I started with age, I was weighing like 93 kg, and
Okay.
like yeah, and obviously like on stage I was like 71. Like now I weigh like 80, 82, 83.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like I've always been a bit heavier. But in terms of like having like potential. Like obviously, I saw potential in myself. I'm not going to be like saying no, I didn't think I was going to do well. Obviously, the potential I saw potential in myself. That's why I wanted to go into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Um, to be honest with you, like I made when I first stepped in the gym, like I made like quite good gains. Like like your newbie gains in the
Mm.
first couple of years. Like honestly made like not trying to sound big headed, but like I did even like strength wise and stuff. Like I remember I was like. I must have been like 19 and like squatting 4 plates for reps, deadlifting 5 plates, and you know when like people around you start to notice, I think that's like quite a big thing when you
Yeah.
start getting compliments from people, oh mate, like you're looking good, or you should compete, or like even like people say to me, oh you should like go down powerlifting, or you should go down
Mm.
just because obviously like things were progressing really well. And then it was like I mentioned, it was just about taking that next step. So
Yeah.
I felt like the potential was always there, but I feel like then having a coach just leveled it up like
Mm.
completely. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like the way like the packages we bought to stage and like leading up to the stage, like I didn't think I was gonna look like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it is like even like now I look back at pictures, I think like if I compare those pictures to now, I'm
Yeah.
thinking that I'm still thinking like we did well, man. We did well. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, good to hear. That's really cool. And it is crazy because yeah, seeing those stage photos for the first time. Had you got like obviously you got very, very lean. Had you got anywhere near that before? As in done like a dieting phase before?
So only very slightly, but that was just like myself. I think I must have done it for a holiday.
Right.
Um, I was probably training for about maybe like 2, 3 years. I thought,
Yeah.
I'm going on holiday. I want to look good, and I did my own kind of diet. I
Yeah.
couldn't even tell you what I was doing.
Yeah.
Actually, this was when like when like you just you haven't really got a clue what you're doing. Like, oh,
Mm,
like for example, I'd buy like instead of taking normal whey protein, I
yeah.
remember I bought this diet whey. It was
Yeah.
disgusting. Like that was gonna make a difference and put me
Mm,
in a calorie deficit when obviously it wasn't. It was
yeah.
just a but yeah, just doing like things that like you didn't. But to be fair, I did all right. Like I had some abs on holiday.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like mission accomplished for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, nowhere near as lean as stage lean. No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's the first time you've probably got
Yeah,
that lean. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
funny
yeah.
you mentioned the diet weight. I'm pretty sure, is it PhD do the diet weight? I think it's higher in calories than normal whey protein.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. So I
There
just,
you
yeah,
go.
it's just a marketing thing, isn't it? But
Yeah, literally.
yeah. I asked Julian about this in the last episode. You both made like, and you guys were quite similar because you both made like a huge impact in your first year, and you've both obviously gained quite a sizable following. And he and yourself, you've had like a few of the kind of fake natty accusations, and
Yeah,
as well, he said he took it as a compliment. How do you
yeah.
take it when someone says, "Nah, he's not natty, he's on gear"? How do you take it?
It's, it's exactly the same. I'm laughing because it is funny.
Yeah.
Like I'll get comments like to be fair, I don't really post them that much, but honestly, mate, I get them like every single day. I'm talking about
Mm,
posts that I've made like while I was on prep, and like I'll have people arguing in there like he's natty, he's not natty. I'll
yeah.
get people, and mine are like quite funny. I'll get people to um, say stuff like, "Oh, physique's natty, but beard isn't," or
Right, right. Okay.
they'll say like uppers natty, but lower isn't.
Right,
Um,
right.
it's just funny stuff. Yeah, like Julian said, it is. You have to take it as a compliment.
Mm,
Like you have to, because obviously people are basically saying that you're bigger than you should be, or you look.
mm.
They're like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you have to take it as a compliment. Because if you're gonna let stuff like that get to you, then
Mm.
social media is not for
No,
you.
no,
I
no,
mean,
that's the thing.
to be
Yeah.
completely honest, because yeah, and that's one. And I just think like, how have you got the time to be doing this?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, get a life. But
Yeah.
now it is funny. Like, you have to take it as a compliment as well. Yeah, like, yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree completely. Only a couple of times. I've had it myself, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
only a few times I've thought, "Ah, that really pisses me off." But because you know how much work you put into,
Yeah, yeah, that's also very true. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So I can see how someone would take it as like, yeah, they're not appreciating like the work that I'm putting in to get this
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
look.
yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, it's just people that are just ignorant, unaware of what can be
Yeah,
achieved.
to be fair, I think that's what it is. I think people are just like, yeah, just more unaware, uneducated of what's like obviously like truly capable and like
Mm.
in natural terms. Because
Yeah.
I remember when I first I don't know if it's a bit weird that I remember this, but the first time someone ever asked me like, "What am I taking?" and
Right.
I still remember because this is like, and even when I first started training, mate, honestly, I actually presumed everybody was natural
Yeah.
until unless it was like your Olympians. Because
Right.
I just that's like when I first it took me a good couple of years to realize that like
Mm.
okay like a lot of people actually do use gear.
Mm.
But I still remember when the first person asked me like, "Oh, bro, like what you taking?" And I
Hmm.
started telling him about the supplements I take. I'm
Right.
talking
Right. Yeah.
whey protein, I take creatine.
Mm.
Yeah, no, but what are you actually taking? And I thought I don't go down that road because
Mm.
that's when it's like when you start hear like people in the gym talking about like, "Oh, I'm taking this, I'm taking that."
Hmm.
That's when I started to realize, okay, like it's even the people that don't look like they're on gear or on gear.
That's the thing. Yeah.
And
100%.
that's when I was thinking like, yeah, it's gonna be crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. You mentioned that actually because it's like it's true. There are some people that are just so genetically elite that you look at them, you think it's amazing, and you can
Yeah,
see
100%.
how people would question
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh,
Even though I didn't
definitely.
spend any time kind of questioning, it's because
Yeah, yeah,
we're all
yeah.
drug tested. It's different.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then again,
exactly.
I've heard people in the gym talking about their cycles and stuff, and I've thought to myself, they look terrible. It's like how they're talking about they're taking so much
Uh-huh.
gear and they
Yeah,
look like that. So I think a lot of people do take gear and they don't look great at all, which is
yeah, no.
it's kind of a
Obviously each
shame.
their own, but yeah.
Mm. What made you want to stay natural? Have you ever considered the dark side?
Um, yeah, I think everyone's probably considered it. Do you know what I mean? It's just for me, it's just more like um yeah, but it's not really. To be fair, it's like, and I think you can definitely do it how, like in a healthy way now.
Hmm.
Like I feel like there's so much like to learn about like how to actually do it properly,
Yeah.
like taking the right supplements, and I feel like there seems to be a lot of a lot of push to like less is more, like especially like
Yeah.
with gear. That's what I seem to be seeing a lot. So yeah, I think there's definitely like safe way to do it, but
Mm,
for me, like the thing that mainly stops me is still the side effects. If I'm honest with you,
mm,
mate, that's like yeah, like my health, like I have to put my health first. Like
yeah.
I want to have kids in the future and stuff like that. And I know people that have spent like thousands just to like try and have kids, and
Mm,
yeah. So I think all of that, and I just love like competing naturally.
yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, I love the fake natty comments.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Keep them
So
coming.
nah, no, honestly, yeah, but yeah, it's not for me. I wouldn't even say highly doubt it. Like, I know I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. That's really cool. That's really good to hear. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm definitely in the same boat as you there
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And I imagine like it's people like Sam Sulek, obviously C-Bum, they've had a huge impact on bodybuilding.
Yeah, massive.
And I think in a positive way, obviously as well. So I think they've drawn a lot of people to bodybuilding, to even natural bodybuilding, because
Yeah,
yeah, they think,
definitely.
oh, that looks cool. Let's just go down the natural, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But if they then start inspiring people to, take gear and that, then yeah, I do feel a bit differently about it. But then again, like looking back, my inspirations were all enhanced people like Arnie, Ronnie
yeah, yeah,
Coleman, all that. They were the people that got
100%.
me into it. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
this is just the new wave of that, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Who are your like biggest inspirations, Rue, when it comes to getting into bodybuilding?
Like getting into it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who are the people you kind of looked at and thought, yeah,
To be fair,
made you?
like, that's a good question, Like obviously when it was like actually like wanting to compete and stuff, I'd
Mm,
say like it was literally when I was looking at like natural bodybuilders. It was mainly like I was only really aware of like the UK scene, so
yeah.
people like AJ, like Keefe,
Mm,
um, but it wasn't really like yeah, I don't really follow natural bodybuilding like massively back then. So
hmm.
in terms of like just bodybuilding itself, like you said, it's like the Olympians
Yeah.
of that time and stuff like that. You read like you looked up to the like the mass monsters and things like
Mm,
they just look like crazy. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? But but yeah, that's what I'd say. Like people like that. To be fair.
Yeah, okay. So a bit of some of the naturals and some of like the
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Olympia
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, when I got into it, it wasn't really natural bodybuilding was a thing because I've since
yeah,
looked it
yeah,
up and there were like historical natural bodybuilders. But I
yeah,
started
yeah,
training like 2001, so a long, long
yeah,
time ago. And
yeah,
yeah, back then it was like Arnie, like the massive book of like bodybuilding he had, and then
yeah,
just
yeah,
like the early primitive days of the internet, things like Ronnie Coleman, and look at these guys, and yeah, it is inspiring. At the same, I know I'm never going to look like that, but in some way, it
yeah.
is kind of
Yeah,
inspiring.
that's what it is. Even though you can, yeah, yeah. Like, even though you know you're never gonna be like that, it's just
Mm,
like it's like you kind of in awe. Like this is like
yeah,
just
yeah.
crazy. Like how can you not appreciate it?
Mm,
You know what I
that's the
mean?
thing,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think yeah, it's funny. Some people are just put off by that look, and some are kind of drawn to it. I think people fall
Yeah,
into
yeah,
two
yeah.
different
That's what
camps.
that honestly, that's what I love seeing. Like the mass monsters,
Mm,
you just think like, what the fuck? Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like this is like something out of this world. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that is crazy. Going back to your season route, you interestingly, you released some of your blood work, which was cool. I did the same last year actually, and
yeah,
predictably there was a huge drop in my like baseline test levels. They went from like high and normal to like verging on like abnormally low, let's
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Being this was your first prep, like how did you find like the side effects of getting into like single digit body fat?
I noticed that there's a lot
Mm,
and this was kind of probably one of the reasons. Well, like how you asked me like earlier about like what got me into bodybuilding and what kind of took me so long. It was I feel like it was one of those things where because like and I was like following like local bodybuilders on their YouTube, like YouTube vlogs and stuff like that. I had an idea of what it would take to do a prep. Bearing in mind this I was following just people that was on gear or doing like they're doing like PCA shows and stuff like that.
yeah,
And I knew like the sacrifices that I'd have to take. And just like coming from like the background that I come from and culture can't even say the word and my culture.
yeah,
There's always like in terms of like sacrifices, like not being able to spend time with friends and family, not going to like all these social events. In my culture, there's always something on every weekend. There's always loads
right,
going on, and I thought to myself like, is that something that I could work around? And I feel like that's probably one thing that stopped me from competing a little bit earlier,
right.
or maybe contemplate it for longer. But yeah, to go back to your question, um. like I said, there was definitely like a lot of side effects, like
Mm,
just like the energy, libido, like heavy legs,
mm,
irritable. And to be fair, it was things that like I didn't think would affect me. For example, like sleep. I've
yeah.
always been like an amazing sleeper. Like anyone that knows me, like I could knock out like that. But then that side affected me, and even
Mm,
like becoming like irritable. Like
right.
I'll like. Well, I see myself as like quite a calm person, like composed and stuff like that. But yeah, I was just getting like irritated at little things, like even at myself or at other people, and I think like this isn't me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there is a lot of side effects that people, especially like first timers, probably don't understand until they go through it. To be fair.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's so true. Really, really good point. Was it like better or worse than you expected on that front, the side effects?
Good question. Mm, I want to say like in the middle.
Yeah, okay.
I know I don't want to be on the fence, but I'd
Yeah,
say
yeah,
in the
no.
middle. Yeah, because like, I'd say some stuff wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Right.
But then, like I mentioned, like some things that I didn't think were gonna affect me did end up affecting me. So
Hmm.
yeah, a bit of both, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a really good answer
yeah,
there actually. Yeah, obviously now you're in the off season. Yeah, you're training as you we discussed before. Your training is going well. How did you
yeah.
manage that post show period of going from competing to not competing?
Yeah, it was a bit because obviously while you're on prep, you've got these shows in your head, and like
Mm,
that's what you're working towards. That's what you're working towards. Then
yeah.
obviously the last show's done, and you're just like, okay, it's off season,
Mm,
and in terms of like I was happy with like and obviously because I had such a long season, obviously you always know it's gonna come to an end. And
mm,
so I feel like on that on in that respect I was like I was having such a long prep, I was ready for prep
mm.
to be done. Do you know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? And I was ready to like for the off season, I was ready to set new goals because I feel like that's really important. Obviously, like with prep, you have these massive goals, but
Mm,
that doesn't mean that like you just transition to an off season and
mm,
then you just like don't care about stuff. Because I
mm,
feel like a lot of people just like fall off a bit. So I feel like it's important to like then set like rather than like physique goals, set like strength goals, like you want to be doing like this certain weight on certain exercise, something like so you still got something to work towards.
yeah,
So yeah, I feel like that's where I'm trying to kind of tuck my mind to.
yeah.
Like I've still got goals, but they've just shifted a bit.
Mm,
Um, and even just in terms of like post show, like putting on extra weight, like I've always been quite confident in like a bit of more of a body fat percentage.
hmm.
So I wasn't really fussed about trying to stay lean or nothing like that. But I will be honest, I
Mm.
didn't think I was gonna lose my like lose the condition, lose my lines as
Right.
quick as I did. To be
Really?
yeah, because I felt like after like 2 weeks, I was like the lines were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
it's like that's one thing that kind of hit me like and to be fair like after so what it was after my last show after Boston I took like 2 weeks off training.
right.
One because I had a shoulder injury, and then also just because like I was in after Boston I went to New York, so I spent some time there. So it was like yeah, more or less 2 weeks altogether. So obviously that
Mm,
probably didn't help the
yeah.
fact that I just wasn't had no pump or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I still like yeah, I still remember thinking like oh like I look like shit. That's honestly how I thought. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
I was looking like this 2 weeks ago, and now I look like this. But it's part of the process, as you know yourself, and obviously being a first timer, you don't obviously like I said,
Mm,
you don't know these things you experience, and I feel like you have to experience them to know what's gonna happen next time around as well. But so yeah, post show was just like definitely interesting, but I feel like I kind of just took it as it came. To be fair,
yeah. No, you made some amazing points there. That's so true. I remember actually when I first competed, I remember feeling so different. Like it was like yeah, like a week, less than 2 weeks. I was like, what is happening to my body? It's like I was
yeah.
just like a different person, which I used to being so lean.
Especially
And
because you feel like you've worked
yeah,
so hard for so many weeks to look
mm,
like that,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
it's literally gone like that.
Those, yeah. And I
Crazy.
think there's a few different things at play. I do think like fat distribution changes a little bit after
Yeah,
prep
100%,
potentially because it seems
100%.
to go on in, I don't know about you, but for me, it just seems to go on my midsection a lot more after I
Yeah,
competed. I don't know
than
why.
beforehand. Yeah,
But also so much water retention, which is going to make things look a lot worse than they are when your
yeah, of
sodium
course.
just goes from low to a
Sky
lot
high.
higher. So
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, all these things, and then just a mental aspect. It's really tough. I think it's one thing that I think is not talked about enough.
No,
Actually, like
yeah,
post first season is just navigating that period because I think if anything, it's harder than prep,
yeah,
definitely.
definitely,
And
definitely.
so I think yeah, another really cool thing you said there actually was that kind of shift of focus. So yeah, you kind of moved your goals from here, and yeah, because there definitely feels like there's a when you've competed and spent a whole season dead putting everything into this one goal. There's definitely like a hole that needs to be filled.
Yeah,
And yeah,
definitely, yeah, yeah,
and
definitely.
it is this thing, yeah. And if you can take that and shift it somewhere else, I think it can be a really productive thing. Like some
Really,
of it can
really,
go to training, some goes like business, whatever it is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that productivity, it can just, yeah, I think it can be carried on, taken into other things. Because you build such good habits, I think, with bodybuilding, and it's good
Yeah,
to
yeah,
continue those.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Like you hit so much, like even just like from a discipline side,
Mm,
stuff like that. Because obviously you have to be like crazy disciplined and
mm,
like your routine and everything. So yeah, if you just cross transfer those skills to something else, or it's not even something else, it's still like bodybuilding, but just
mm,
like a different part of your journey.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that, honestly, that's just gonna make it as productive as possible.
yeah. No, definitely. That's so true. Um, onto your training route. So what does that look like currently? How many days a week? Like 4, 5 days a
Uh,
week?
so right now, since started the off season, it's on 4 days.
Yeah.
Before that, I literally always train five. So you used to do push pull legs rest upper lower.
Hmm.
That was the 5 day split. But now I'm on upper lower rest push pull. So I'm only doing legs once a week
Hmm.
to basically bring up my upper
Yeah.
to match my legs.
Okay. What are you looking? Is that what you're looking to improve, like for your next showing? Is
Yeah,
there?
definitely. So obviously, like I just want to be better everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just from like feedback I got in general and stuff, I think it is like maybe I'm one-sided because obviously it's about me, but
Mm.
I don't think my legs are like overly progressed compared to my upper. Like I
Okay.
still they are, but I don't think there's like a massive imbalance, should I say?
Mm.
But yeah, just from like feedback I've got, I feel like it is gonna be like most beneficial to like bring the upper more up more, and then but yeah, also just improve everywhere. To be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think. I mean, your arms are really a strong area for sure as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
your arms, yeah, look really good. But yeah, I think also because you got your waist seems quite small, it's going to make the legs look, yeah,
Even
look,
bigger.
look
Yeah,
even
yeah.
bigger. But and I think I've actually got quite short legs, which I think also makes them look
Yeah,
bigger
it
as
does
well. But
definitely. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
kind of wish 'cause a lot of these kind of bodybuilders, certainly ones that do classic as well, have like short torsos and long legs, and I kind
Long
of
legs. Yeah, yeah.
I wish I had that look. But I think yeah, having short legs can actually
Yeah,
have an
got its
advantage.
benefits.
It does, it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when do you think you'll be back on stage, Roo, out of curiosity?
It's looking like 2027.
Okay, cool. So a
So yeah.
decent size off season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, long off season. Obviously, definitely wouldn't have been this year. And then obviously,
Yep.
even if I was to compete next year, considering like because last season was so long, and
Mm,
if I was to compete in like 2026, I'd really only have like a year off season.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, obviously, which can still be like very productive.
Hmm.
I just feel like to really give myself a chance of like being like even more, just like even better and more competitive. I feel like
Mm,
2027 is like just makes more sense.
yeah, yeah. No, that's true. That's a yeah, real sensible way of looking at it. I've just been reminded actually because I was chatting to Sarah about this, and I remember at the British finals I had you winning the overalls because I finished second in my class. I was a bit dejected. I really wanted to win, win and
Yeah,
become British champion. But we were watching like the feedback after, and I know Theo won the overall, didn't he? But I
yeah,
was
yeah,
thinking.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was having pizza. Was it? Yeah, there's a Pizza Express next door in Leatherhead, and I was
yeah.
eating there, and I was thinking, oh yeah, yeah, that guy Rue, he's got it, he's got it. And then when you didn't, I was really shocked. So yeah, I had to then look, and I think it was quite close, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Regardless, you had an
No,
amazing.
I appreciate you supporting me.
Yeah, yeah, no, because I remember I think it was just your structure, crazy structure, but yeah,
Yeah,
really bright future ahead of you for sure,
I
which
appreciate
is
it,
good
bro.
to
Thank
see.
you.
Um, Bit off topic. I chatted to Steve about this recently. He's got a Ninja Creamy. You've got one as well, the ice cream
Oh
maker.
yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you still use it, or is it more of a prep thing?
On it, I had it. I only got it recently.
Yeah.
I was gonna get it in prep. And actually, to be fair, I actually asked because I think you know Loz.
Yeah, AJ's
AJ's
missus.
missus.
Mm.
So obviously, she must have got one, and then I've seen obviously seen on her story. Then I've seen that he'd used it a couple times. So I
Mm.
asked him like, bro, obviously because food focus was like
Yeah, yeah.
high anyway. I asked him, I was like, oh, like how good actually is it? And then
Mm.
he said himself like it is good to be fair, but because I was having like some digestive issues at the time, he said it's
Mm.
probably not best to get it. And I thought, yeah, you know what, you
Yeah,
know best, so let's not.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then yeah, I got it not too long ago, but honestly, mate, game changer.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And I'm not even like a huge ice cream fan. And to be fair, I think prep kind of made me like more of a sweet tooth kind of guy because I was
Right,
always
okay.
more savory than sweet, to be fair. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm not even a massive ice cream fan. But
Mm.
honestly, it is a game changer because you can literally make um healthy creamies like
Yeah,
literally just
yeah.
with like whey almond milk, so you can put sweetener in it. But then you can also just go like for like your off-plan meal, for example, you can just go
Mm.
crazy with it. Push like biscuits, brownies.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
need to get one, trust me. You won't regret it.
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah, yeah. It's
100%.
I think I saved one of your recipes recently and yeah, I thought that looks cool. I need to ask him about this.
Yeah,
I've
definitely.
asked to see if
Honestly,
he'll
that recipe is literally just like exactly what you need to use. Then you can just
yeah.
like change your whey flavors or change the mixing you put in. But
Mm.
definitely a good
Yeah,
investment.
yeah. No, I think yeah. 'Cause I do love a kitchen gadget, so I'm gonna have to add
Yeah,
that to my
yeah.
collection. Yeah, I got an air fryer recently. They're really good. They're great.
Yeah, really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ninja's just killing it at the
Yeah, they
moment.
are. They're
Yeah,
they are, man.
everything. Honestly,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's so true. Going back to your yeah, I want to say like, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking of competing, Ruth? Like for the first time, someone who's new to bodybuilding is thinking of competing. What would you say to them? What advice would you give?
Someone that's new to competing, I'd say you have to. Obviously before you even compete, I feel like well like you mentioned before, like you need to be kind of living that lifestyle already because you can't just go from because even though yeah you might look at people on stage and think oh like that would be amazing I want to look like that, but you can't just have that in your head and thinking you're going to be able to do it like that because it's it takes a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like it's gonna take a lot from just like routine wise as well. Like if you're thinking about stepping on stage, you gotta be
Mm,
able to do the basics, like the non-negotiables. You gotta be able to be like do your training to a like high intensity, not just like going into the gym just for the sake of it. Because even the days you're not feeling it, you're gonna need to give it 100%.
yeah,
You
yeah.
need to be on point with your food. You need to be able to get your cardio in, get your steps in. So all those are non-negotiable. So I feel like if you're not already doing that,
Mm,
then there's a lot to think about before
yeah.
you go like think about stepping on stage, and also get a coach. I
Mm,
think that's definitely, especially for
yeah.
the first time, just having someone that knows what they're doing, so you're not having to like obviously like second guess or stuff like that, and having someone actually guide you through the process, and
Mm,
you can learn a lot.
yeah, yeah. No, that's so true. Yeah, really good advice actually. And yeah, you got 100%. You have to live that lifestyle before doing it.
It's extreme, like it's not
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
a like do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
you don't just
definitely,
compete for a laugh. That's the thing. It's,
yeah,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
so true.
Yeah, yeah.
What mistakes do you think people make in bodybuilding? Would you say?
Mistakes.
What's the biggest mistake you see people make?
Um, are we talking like in terms of like competing or just like in
Yeah, bodybuilders like generally. I know it's a different one because I know you've only done a season, but yeah, you've had a very good season. You've seen a lot. You've been involved in the sport. Yeah, I'm just curious to know what are the biggest mistakes you think people make are.
probably I want okay, one thing that comes to me, I want to say a mistake, but not practicing posing.
Hmm.
I'd say that's one thing.
Yeah.
Uh, people do. That's probably one thing that people overlook.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
like posing actually is, and how you present yourself. Because
Hmm.
for example, if you've got like weak points, but you know how to present your strong points better. Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say? So you can kind of
Hmm.
like obviously posing an art at the end of the day. You can do it to manipulate like your strengths and your weaknesses. I'd
Hmm.
say that's one thing that's probably underlooked.
Hmm.
In terms of um, maybe in natural, probably not starting prep at the right point, either starting
Yeah.
it too late or starting too heavy.
Mm.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
probably one mistake, and then obviously then they're kind of like chasing their tail, and that's when like prep can become like a real chore. I feel
Mm.
like when you're really having to, well, obviously like we all have to dig, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's just how it is. I'm talking when you're having to dig for your whole prep,
Mm.
like at the start it should be like pretty all right, do you know what I mean? But yeah, when you're having to like lose so much, and then it can really, and then I feel like that's probably why a lot of people then don't go back to compete again
Yeah.
because that's such a bad experience the first time round. Whereas if you give yourself enough time and try and make it as smooth as possible, because obviously it's never going to be easy,
Yeah.
but try and make it as smooth as you can.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd say that's another thing. And
Yeah.
also, now the kind of the ideas are coming into my head.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, probably your environment, I think,
Okay.
as well. But prepping when maybe other things in your life aren't quite there.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so,
Yeah.
and then that's just gonna make your prep even more difficult. Like, people might want to prep to escape from something else, but it's you're gonna find that it's gonna make whatever it may be, it's gonna make that 10 times harder, gonna make your prep 10 times harder, and you're not gonna enjoy the process. So you're just gonna end up digging yourself into a hole with like fatigue and everything like that. And yeah, it's not gonna be you're not gonna be a good look.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's so true. Yeah, really, really good points there. I love that. And going back to posing, actually, yeah, that's really true. 100% agree. Like people don't put enough attention into that.
Yeah.
How did you find, obviously, being your first rep, like learning all the poses, doing all those? How did you find the whole process?
To be fair, I found it quite enjoyable. I did plan on actually getting like a posing coach because I honestly presumed that everyone's got a posing coach. That's
Mm.
just what I thought. And then ended up I didn't. And to be honest, I just learned everything from Instagram. Do you know
Yeah.
Daniel? Yeah, is it Coffeen? His
Oh, sorry,
surname.
no, what were you going to say, Daniel? What's his name?
Daniel Coffeen.
It rings a bell.
The
Yeah.
American. I don't want to get his name wrong. I'm sure that's how you say
Yeah,
his name. Yeah,
that rings a
literally,
bell, but I think.
he puts out loads of like just free stuff on his Instagram, like
Mhm.
tutorial stuff like that. I literally learned everything I know from him, and obviously,
Mhm.
I'm like practicing like after every session
Yeah.
from I can't remember how many weeks that I was, but it got to a certain point, literally after every session, doing like rounds, recording
Mm.
myself, doing my posing routine. Because at the end of the practice makes
Yeah.
practice makes perfect. You know what I mean? So the more you do something, the better you're gonna get.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. That's so true, and it's hard work as well. Like pose, I think a lot of people don't realize how hard posing is.
Yeah, it
It's
is. Yeah. So you can pose, but can you hold the pose?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, just
Yeah,
holding a front relax. I was doing like every day, like almost every day for like 7 months, and up to
yeah,
the point like a front relax for a minute and a half, then all
yeah,
the
yeah,
quarter turns, and then practicing the routine as well. And it's a lot. I'll do
yeah.
it first thing in the morning just to get it done, get
Yeah,
it out of the way,
definitely. Yeah.
and then
I think
sometimes
what you said
yeah,
about the front relax, that's the one because
yeah, yeah, that
your
is one.
shoulders are just, especially when you're on stage, like
Mm,
that's the one I was feeling the most. Like my
yeah.
shoulders were just on fire.
They burn,
But
yeah. And that
yeah,
is it's funny actually with posing. I think there are certain poses that are just much easier to hit than others. I think
yeah, definitely.
front
Yeah,
relaxed is not one of them. It's just
yeah, it's just
annoyingly, it's the
yeah,
one
yeah,
you
yeah,
spend the most time in, and it is
yeah.
probably the
And it's
most uncomfortable.
but it's one of the most important ones.
Yeah, it certainly
Yeah,
is. It really is. Like I remember, I think it was like a side chest. I think I found that the easiest to hit. It's just there's something just kind
okay.
of cool about hitting that
Yeah,
pose.
yeah.
It's
It's funny you
relaxing.
say that. I used to hate my side chest when I first
Okay.
started. Used to hate it, but like, but
Mm,
I was doing it wrong. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. I just used to
right.
hit it. But
Mm,
like you said, as you start to learn and how to
mm.
hit things properly, yeah, it actually became one of my more like favored ones.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, that's yeah, no, that's cool. I think it's a great pose. Do love a side chest.
yeah, yeah,
Like the
yeah,
front double is probably my favorite, I would say.
yeah,
But
yeah. Front double or
it's
most
everyone.
muscular. I love a most
Yeah,
muscular.
yeah. Is that one of yours? You say?
Favorite pose? Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
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 yeah. Most for me, I need to perfect it or need to bring something up. For me, it just doesn't.
yeah. I
Haven't quite
think that's
nailed
what
it.
I'm just probably being a bit like bigging myself up because that's probably the pose that I look the best. So I'd say
Yeah, yeah.
I hit that the best.
That's the
But
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Um, yeah, well, that's really cool. We're coming to the end of the hour here, so this has been amazing, Ruth. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I've really enjoyed this. Apologies for the technical issues. Those listening, we had some
Yeah.
issues that are all my fault, completely my fault.
No, no. So
Um,
we got there in the end.
we got there in the end, but yeah, my laptop was playing up. But yeah, thanks again. This has been amazing. I'm gonna do my quick fire questions now, Ruth. So, what is your favorite film?
I'm not actually a huge film guy.
Okay.
Yeah, not massively, but the first one that comes to my head it was Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah, yeah. That is a good
That's a
film.
good film. Or like well, yeah, like I said, I'm not a massive film guy, but I do like the Fast and Furious films. Like the first
Yeah,
few,
yeah.
they was like really good before they got a bit like. I think after put it out. I think after the fifth one, they just got a bit like went a bit downhill.
They were,
But
yeah.
yeah, that's so yeah,
They're
those
cool.
for me.
They're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
guilty pleasure films. I like those. It's funny because I remember the first one came out in like 2001, the year I started training, funnily enough,
Okay.
a long
Yeah,
time ago. And that was a film about street racing. It was about cars,
yeah,
all the
yeah, yeah,
nastiness. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
you've got cars going to space, and it's like, what is
Yeah,
this? This
I
is,
don't know. Yeah, it's just got to be ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. But it's still kind of fun. It's just so over the
Yeah,
top. Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
What's your favorite dieting food, Rue?
It's gonna be the same answer you got from most
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
It's gotta be oats, man.
yeah, man. It's
Gotta be oats. It's just like, yeah, obviously oats with whey, banana,
mhm.
blueberries, peanut butter.
Mm,
That's what honestly, and it's something you can like volumize as well, especially
yeah.
like while you're dieting. So it definitely helps.
Yeah, what's your go-to flavor of whey protein?
Oh, too many.
Too many. Yeah.
Honestly, too many, man. Like I usually get them in like the smaller tub just so I can get more. But
Yeah.
if I had to pick one, I'd say the sweet and salty popcorn from I always get them from Perform. So
Hmm.
sweet and salty popcorn. Yeah,
It's
that's gotta
like,
be number one.
yeah, I keep seeing that. It's like, yeah, it's actually good because I love
Hey,
popcorn, but
honestly, it's because I thought the same as you. I thought, why would you want
yeah,
popcorn flavored whey? Like it don't make sense. But I make all mine into a paste,
right.
and honestly, you need to try it. Game
Okay.
changer.
I give it a go.
Really,
They do
really good.
sell that in my gym actually, the Perform.
Yeah,
And yeah, I
definitely.
love their chocolate brownie batter. That's really good.
Yeah, that one's really good. Yeah, yeah, that one's really good.
But yeah, I need to try that. Okay. What's your favorite off-season food?
Off as in like off plan or on plan?
Off plan. If you have to eat anything.
Oh, off plan. We're talking
Yeah.
like a big fat burger. It's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
to be
nice. Yeah.
like a big fat, but not like a McDonald's or Burger King or nothing like that. I'm talking like a proper like a place that like specializes in burgers, like like a
Yeah.
triple
The tall ones.
fat man. And
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
fair, that's what I actually had in my first my first off plan post prep. That's exactly what I had.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
No, good answer. Yeah, I remember I saw that video of you. Yeah, that looks pretty tasty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a funny video.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the food post show it hits different, doesn't it, really? It's yeah, it really does.
Differently, man, differently.
Yeah. What are your hobbies outside of bodybuilding, Roo?
This kind of sound make me sound really boring,
Okay.
but like, obviously with train, like I just love training because
Mm.
of the way I see it, even if it wasn't for bodybuilding, I'd still be training either way. So I still see that like as my hobby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But to be fair, other than that, I don't really have like a main hobby. It's
Mm.
just gonna be like it's just like spending time with like friends and family. I like going out for nice food
Mm.
or like watching like how I said, I'm not really a big film guy. I prefer like series or documentary stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I do that to like wind down in the evening. But
Mm.
yeah, so maybe I need to look into something.
No,
But
no, no, it's all good. Bodybuilding is all encompassing, isn't it? It really is.
yeah,
Yeah, I get
definitely.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, look, this has been amazing. Thanks again, Ruth. You've yeah, made this a lot of fun.
No,
And
thank you.
yeah, thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.